Good evening, Brandon. How are you?
Very good, very good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How was your fishing on the Madison this last weekend?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Got to do it one of these days. If you haven't gone with a two-hander and swung in the park, it's something you won't forget.
You fished a two-hander.
Absolutely.
Did you buy that for me?
Little short switch. That was gifted to me by Kevin Harris, actually.
I'm kidding. Okay. Good evening, Brandon Dwyer, good friend, avid angler, and even better than all of it, one of the best fly tyers in the Billings, Montana area. Brandon is here to demonstrate how to tie not only one of the most popular, but effective and frankly difficult to tie streamers commercially manufactured, which is the Coffey Sparkle Minnow. So without further wait, Brandon, it's up to you. Thank you.
All right, so as you can see, I've already put our cone head on here. I've already wrapped the lead wire, and I've wrapped it down with a few wraps of thread, and hit it with a little Zap-A-Gap, just to make everything secure. So this, like a lot of good streamers, have a few layers to them. So first layer being a light colored marabou feather. Tonight we're going to do kind of an olive sculpin variation. It's not the true sculpin pattern, the sculpin variation of the commercially tied bug, but we're gonna do something real close. So we'll start off with a light, in this case, white marabou tail for the bottom. Make it just about a shank length, maybe just a touch more, and wrap that on. Like I said, this looks like a very complicated fly. When you pick it up and look at it in the bins, but as you get going, you'll see that it's actually not too bad. Next color, because we're doing kind of an olive sculpin, is going to be our dark color, and this one's going to be olive. So we'll just match this up on the top of the fly. Again, that's just a little more than shank length. That's just going to give it a little more action on the tail. Most of this fly is actually fairly rigid. You can see we've got a long shank going on this fly. Next, we've got crystal flash. In this case, it's going to be copper, and this is true to form with the original. Has some copper crystal flash, but copper is a great color. It's a color that fish see very well and works in a lot of different light conditions. This is a very sparkly fly, so we're going to use it. We're going to use a lot of flash. So there's maybe a dozen strands in here. We're just going to nip all these off and tie them in. Again, we're kind of build an even body on this fly. So tied in by the tips there. Fold it over, everything nice and straight. Tie it in by the tips over here. Don't worry about this being too pretty, because we're going to cover this all up with the main ingredient in this fly, which is flash, flash, and more flash. So here's our flash, and there it is out the back. Like I said, lots of flash. We'll clean these up, but again, we're going to cover all this up later with some more flash. Next step, and this is where this fly gets a little bit tricky, we're going to form a dubbing loop, because this is going to create that belly of the fly that creates that other layer of sparkle on this fly. I want to make sure that this is directly on the underside of this fly, because we're not going to actually wrap this like a traditional dubbing loop. This will actually be folded over like a body segment. If this stuff starts giving you guff, just wet your fingers and move it back. So we're just going to reserve this dubbing loop for later. Hide this back here. Next, here is our EP sparkle brush. Now this one is actually trimmed down a little bit. These come very long. These are a great tool. If you don't want to spin this in a dubbing loop, this is kind of a cheater way. This isn't just straight olive. You can get this in a million different colors. The commercially tied version actually does it in gold, but we're going to do it in olive just because this is a variation. It's kind of fun to do a variation of the original if you're tying them yourself. So tie in that. These come on a nice pre-rigged wire. Easy to wrap. So as we wrap this, we're going to wrap it and fold and wrap and fold. So this is kind of a time-consuming part of this fly.
No, it's okay. I have 3 older brothers and a father. So, like that.
Keep wrapping. This is going to take pretty much this whole brush. Again, this is kind of a long shank on this fly.
Well, 2 of my brothers.
And this variation also, so bear with me. Again, wrap and fold and wrap and fold. A few more here. Thanks for bearing with me. We're going to go all the way up to the cone, or near the cone, and tie this off. At this point, you can nip this out, this wire, or you can leave it in and do a couple finishing wraps. For the sake of time, we're just going to nip this out and have it ready. Next step is we'll get this dubbing loop out and get our belly material ready. This can be the tricky part, like I said, because we're working with a dubbing loop and it has to be just the right size. So we want our dubbing loop basically to be the size of the belly here. So we've got a nice big dubbing loop to work with here. I'm just going to try and move some of this out of the way beforehand. We're going to take a good, healthy piece of our, this is pearl ice dub, put it right up in the belly here. Then we're going to twist this up in our dub loop. So you can see it go there. I'm just twisting the dubbing spinner. There it goes. There's our belly of the fly. We're going to end up combing some of this out later, but for now, this is going to work. So next, sweep some of this back. Here's our belly of this sparkle minnow. Tie it off. You can see this ice dub is kind of going everywhere. That's okay. We're going to finish this up and comb it all out and make it look nice and pretty. Finish this with quite a few wraps here. Really bind that down. We're also going to hit it with some zap gap or head cement to keep it in there. 4 or 5 turn wood finish, a couple of them. Comb some of this down. You see where we've created this nice white belly here on this fly. This again, this is another layer of color, a layer of fishiness on here. Touch that with a little zap gap just to let everything soak in. Tighten up. Last step. We're going to take a Sharpie, a black one, and we're just going to create a black stripe down this side. The top of this fly. Right down the top, just to make it, you know, minnows, everything, every fish out there's got kind of a darker back. As this marabou gets wet, it's going to darken up a little bit. We'll we're just going to hit this with a Sharpie or any other dark black permanent marker you got. Go right down the back. Make sure you spend some time in there. See, we've got this nice dark back on there now, this nice bright sparkly fly. Last step, just to kind of, I got a little Velcro on here. I just kind of want to pick everything out, make everything nice and smooth, flowy. And there you go, you've got a Sculpin Sparkle Minnow. Customized here, we've got the olive sparkle versus the gold sparkle. Just as effective and something you get to call very own. So give it a shot, let me know what you think. And thanks for watching.
Well, Brandon, we appreciate that a lot. I mean, you know, as a streamer angler, don't do that.
Don't do what?
I'm not sure. As a streamer angler, I know the benefit of fishing a sparkle minnow. And after this demo, obviously you streamer tires out there can know that this is not something that's that hard to tie, even though I said it was. And I appreciate you a lot.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Peace out. Thank you. Bye.